Kyle
on the
Allen.
upset of
All
the
right.
week. I'm doing well enough
All
in the
right.
picks
He's picking Kyle Allen.
that I can take
All
this
right. All right.
loss.
All right,
Say it.
gentlemen. We're going next
Just
game. We're
say
going
it.
next game. We're going next game.
Say it.
Minnesota Vikings,
Next.
10-2, going into the Detroit Lions, who are 5-7. And Detroit Lions here are favorited by 2.5 points. It started
This
off
is
with 1 point
This
this
is
morning,
crazy.
and it's moved to 2.5. That's crazy in the Lions' favorite. Because I don't understand why. Because I understand the Lions are scoring a little bit more points, but their defense is giving up more points
So
than
is
their
the
offense is.
Vikings, though.
Oh no, the Vikings are scoring more points on offense than their defense is giving
Yeah,
up.
barely, though.
That's
They're
why they're
letting up
10-2.
23. They're letting up 23, though, the Vikings.
And the Lions' defense is letting
Letting
up
up 27.
31. Like
27.
that's
Yeah,
the argument here is it's hard to make. I
27.
don't see this one in the Vegas arguments here. This one hurts.
That is a
Not to
bad line.
mention,
Yeah, I
not
agree.
to mention,
I agree.
not to mention that the Vikings have beaten three good teams that the Lions got, either throttled by or beat, at the end of the day between New England, Miami, and Buffalo. The Vikings beat all three of those guys. So the fact that the Lions here and in week 3 was it that the Vikings beat the Lions. So like it continues. I'm like questioning where this line came from. But for you guys, quick question here is: does TJ Hawkinson have a big game because he knows the defense of the Lions, or does TJ Hawkinson have a bad game because the defense knows him?
I think it would be smart for Minnesota to stay right down the middle of the field the way they have been doing with your Dalvin Cooks and using Hawkinson and crossing routes to Jefferson. I think it's a good spot to attack the Lions secondary. So yeah, I think he has a good game. 84 yards, touchdown maybe. There's going to be points in the game.
I'm
Where
going.
you at, Ed?
I'm going. I'm going. He'll have a good game. I think
Good
he'll
game.
have a good game.
Same boat, Nick, or you think the defense will get the best of him?
No, I think he'll have a good game. I agree.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, because it's gonna be a big. I think it's gonna be a big part of that game is whether he has a good game because it's gonna be a high scoring football game.
sure.
Probably
100%.
ending, maybe even 5-10 points more than it did the first time they faced off. But the edge has got to go to the Vikings, right? Because they got more weapons. They got the T.J. Hawkinson where the Lions don't. Amon-Ra St.
Jefferson.
Brown had a phenomenal game last week, but you can't rely on him. And he got hurt. Almost ended up in concussion protocol off of one of those catches. So can't keep forcing that man the ball too much. I'm going Vikings here. Technically an upset, but it shouldn't be. Going Vikings.
It's a tough one for me. Vikings are 8-0 in one-score ball games this season, which is a complete turnaround to last season. They were 5-8. Um, Vikings should win this game. I'm gonna take the Lions though. I'm gonna take the Lions. I would take the points with the Vikings because I think this is just gonna be a one drop in the bucket type of game to where it's a 1 or 2 point win for the team that does win it. I'm gonna go Detroit. They're putting up nice points. It's a home game for them. It's a division game for them. And over the last couple of seasons, these teams have pretty much traded home and home wins. So it's Detroit's turn to be at home. I'm gonna go Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to take Minnesota, but I'm going to take Detroit. And the reason why I'm going to take Detroit is because they're just playing crazy right now. I mean, they barely lost to Buffalo. They blew out Jacksonville. They beat a red-hot Giants team that was playing really well. I mean, the Bears, Green Bay, not so much. It's Green Bay, to play like garbage. But they're on fire right now offensively. Yes, the defense potentially is going to let some stuff up. It's going to just let it go. Just let some yards go. They're going to let it go. Let it go. But I think potentially Detroit can win this game. And I mean, why not, right? I mean, they're playing crazy. They got a high scoring offense. That's what's crazy about it. You're like, you don't have to. You can't rely on Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got chipped up. They're scoring 26 points a game. That's more than that high powered offense, Minnesota Vikings. So that's just crazy when we, in terms of saying offenses. I mean, their offense is scoring more. Jonathan Goff is scoring more. People, I'm going Detroit Lions. How about you, Nikki? I don't know. I don't know what's gonna.
No, so I'm taking the Detroit Lions as well.
You don't know.
Listen, Brady made a very good point. Very, very good point. The Minnesota's letting up 23. They're scoring 24. They're doing better on that aspect. Detroit, with the numbers I'm looking at, Brady says they're putting up 28.3 a game and they're letting up 27. So technically they're putting up more. But I don't know if this was like previous in the week. You saw 31, and it's not far off. But either way, I like Detroit in this game. They're winning. They're winning games. They play tough against tough teams. You go back to the Philly game. They put up 36 points on us. You go to look at Minnesota, right? Justin Jefferson. They're the guy over there, right? This is the guy over there. Darius Slay, when he played the Eagles, 6 catches, 48 yards, no touchdowns. Sauce Gardner last week, 5 catches, 45 yards. He had a touchdown, but 5 catches on 45 yards. Sauce Gardner. Then you got Jeff Okudah, who's also going to be covering him in this game, who's playing terrific this year. I think they shut down Justin Jeff again this week, and I think that the Detroit Lions edge him out on the touchdowns because of that reason.
That's where Hawkinson comes in.
I like what Detroit's doing. I think they have a real good shot at winning this game, and they have the best chance out of any 5-7 team in the league to make the playoffs. They're in second place in the division. They're 5-7. They're in second place. I mean,
they're 4-1 over their last 5 games. When's the last time you even thought about Detroit Lions being 4-1 over a 5-game span at any point in our lifetime?
Yeah, and Green Bay's 5-8, Chicago's 3-10. If Green Bay keeps losing and Detroit keeps winning,
when was the last time?
They might squeeze in at 8-7-1 or something.
Hey,
9-7.
Hey, when was the
Our
last?
only loss during that span was the Buffalo by 3.
Hey,
So, I mean, playing great football.
When did you ever say the Lions were second in the division?
Barry Sanders was playing football.
You can't remember that.
Right.
That's
At 5-7 though, that's
feat,
very
so.
sad. That's very sad though.
feat
Still, I
itself.
mean, they're still 5-7, but Green Bay is just that bad.
Brett Perryman was running routes for him.
Green Bay and the Bears are just kicking each other while they're down on who's going to be the worst in the division. It's going to be me. No, it's not. It's going to be me. They're just kicking each other.
Brady, take us home.
Even if Jefferson gets taken out, Minnesota, lots of weapons in the cabinet, like Brady talked about with Hockenson. So it's going to be a close one. It definitely can go either way.
Yeah, I mean, and you brought up the corners, slowing down that pass game, but this is an easy game for them to build off of what they did last week and let that run game shine. Let your running backs get the money.
For sure.
They got 2 good ones.
By no means do they not have more talent than the better team. For sure.
No, I was just making an edge with what they were doing last week. I think the coaching has gotten better for them. I know they've taken their beatings from both the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles, but outside of that, they've given everybody else a beating.
Yeah, well, it's like everybody who has a good defense gives them a problem, but they're not a high-scoring, powered offense. This Lions team is the exact opposite. You know what I'm saying?
Minnesota's had, to Brady's point, Minnesota's had a really nice balance here over the last 5-6 weeks too, because it was really pass heavy at the beginning of the season. But Dalvin Cook he's been really nice. He killed it at Buffalo. Had a good game against the Jets. Sealed that up with a touchdown too. So I mean, that's another good point.
Minnesota
for sure.
is one of my
Detroit Lions are finally healthy again. Like their Swift is back to 100%. Amon-Ra St. Rod took that shot, but he came back in. But they're getting healthier now, and you can see the point totals are starting to go up as a
back to the beginning of the season when they were the number 1 offense, and they're looking like that again the way they're playing. But that defense is still very suspect.
Minnesota's been one of my kryptonites this year. I picked against them a lot this season. As in like other teams, I've picked with them a lot and whatever. But Minnesota, I've picked against them a lot, and they keep proving me wrong. But I think that the Lions team's built to do it.